Hey guys, let me fix the camera really quick actually. Make this a little bit better. There we go. Okay. So this is our slow flow practice for the first week, the end of January, the beginning of February. So we're moving into a new month, and we're kind of past that first crazy hectic month, which almost I feel like doesn't really count because it just goes so fast, and we're trying to like recover after Christmas and all of that good stuff. And today we're going to be finishing up our series on working towards the bird of paradise posture that we've slowly been building up to. And I thought this was a really good opportunity to talk about something where it's really been on my mind lately, and it's really been almost bothering me in some ways. So I'm going to get up on my soapbox a little bit today. Today I want to talk to you guys about the power of women and what real power for a woman looks like. Now, you know, it's not about us overcoming the patriarchy and it's us against them and all of this stuff. The world is moving into a space where it is more about everybody being their fullest embodiment of exactly who and what they are. And the best way that we can create cohesiveness and unity and connection with the people around us is by doing just that and standing in our power. And that's how we can create or facilitate incredible change. Incredible positive change can come from within that space if we are just willing to tap into those aspects of our being. It's not about the patriarchy versus the matriarchy. It's about standing in all of our own collective power and moving forward as a whole from within that space. And you know, there's so many misinterpretations about what the power of a woman looks like. A lot of times, you know, we think about our power comes from, you know, even when I'm talking about just our feminine aspects, our feminine nature, that sacred feminine aspect of ourselves. You know, we have that divine feminine and our sacred masculine, or vice versa. It doesn't matter which word you put in front of which one. We're just indicating the beauty and the specialness of each side of our being, right? And as much as we see there's the sacred masculine in the world and the divine feminine, those aspects are already also found within our own being. We also have those polarities within our being, but those polarities create the one individual, right? That one whole person. It's the same thing out in our community. When we stand in our own power, that creates a whole community. And when we talk about our divine feminine, a lot of the times we talk about the nurturing aspects, the beauty of like gentle support and kindness and love and nurturing and supportive energies that come from within that space, right? And those are really beautiful, important aspects of the divine feminine. But some of the most amazing aspects of the divine feminine is the power that is held within that space. And our power is not like I'll read some of the things that trigger me. I'll read you some of the quotes that I read, you know, and I'm like, no, that is not true. It's like one of the quotes I read said, kindness is a choice that comes from incredible strength. Never underestimate the power of a kind woman. Well, yes, but that's not necessarily what I would call my power. My power is not in my kindness. Anybody can have the power for kindness. Why is this just directed towards women alone? You know, this kindness is something that should be a human issue, right? Not something that I'm telling women, if you're standing in your power, you're going to be kind. You're kind. You're gentle. You know, no. That's not necessarily our power. That's not the seat of our power, is our kindness. Yes, kindness is beautiful, it's amazing, and it's a very incredible way to connect to the people around us, to show compassion and empathy, and to really feel into, you know, the shoes of another individual, to be kind to them irregardless, recognizing that we don't know what their journey has been like. We don't know what kind of things they have been through. The power of a woman is intense. And honestly, like, women have changed history. We have done things that have literally shifted humanity. And sometimes rage is a part of the catalyst for that change. A steel spine and a roar like thunder, those are the kind of strengths that a woman has. Deep, deep, deep well of strength that we have within our being. So deep that, we use it in a way of like enduring life, quote unquote. I'm going to endure my life. I've got this deep well of strength that's just going to sustain me through all of the challenging experiences. And that's not using our strength in the right way. Our strength is not meant for us to endure the shit. Our strength is meant for us to create change, new energetic space, new ways of doing things. Sometimes we have to roar. Sometimes we have to tap into our anger and our frustration and our rage. We keep, saying that women need to be lifted up, elevated, so that we're no longer in this patriarchal society that disvalues us and treats us less and all of these things. But that's not going to change by us blaming the other side, quote unquote, the patriarchy, for creating this environment. There are two parts of every paradigm that exists. So if I'm going to blame the patriarchy for putting me under suppression and for keeping their thumb on me and for creating a certain environment from which I have to behave from, I am contributing to that paradigm by behaving the way they want me to behave. By being the good girl, by not causing a stir and getting angry and frustrated, because who wants to be the bitch, right? Who wants to be that girl who is coming up against all of the things that she doesn't find to be just or fair or right? We have to drop our perception or our concern for other people's perceptions of us. If we want things to change, we have to stop playing the game. We have to stop participating in the things that keep us feeling suppressed and taken advantage of and all of these other things. There are two parties here, the people who are implementing it and the people who are playing the game. I'm sitting here blaming somebody and victimizing myself, and I'm not saying there aren't really crappy things out, ways of doing things. There's not really crappy, super sexist ways that people behave and do things. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is when those things happen, when those situations come into my life, I have a choice to make. I can either play the game with them and pretend like, oh, yes, I am this victim that you want me to be, of this individual who has no rights, who has no choices, who has no ability to free myself from this relationship or this experience. I've got to stand in my strength and say, no, no more. This will not happen. I think about a lot of people who have been abused, and I can say this firsthand because my mom was abused for years, and I had to watch that relationship from the outside and watch her be victimized by this other individual. And I realized throughout the entire thing, she always had the choice to leave. She always had the choice to leave. She forced herself to believe that she had no other choice because she was limiting her options because of her fear of making the choices that were supporting herself. And at the very end of that relationship, I remember thinking and saying to her, like, you can die in this relationship because that's what's going to happen if you stay in it. Or you can die trying to do what's right for yourself, trying to do what's right for your children, leaving the situation and at least finding the care and the support that you need to ensure that this other individual doesn't hurt you ever again, that this other individual doesn't have power over you. that you are no longer in this relationship. There is a choice that has to occur. Two people have to play the part for that situation to exist. Until one of those people chooses something different, it's always going to be that way. And, you know, a lot of women who are in those kinds of situations where they feel suppressed, where they feel victimized, where they feel that they're being taken advantage of, and all of those kinds of things. And I'm not talking like a one-time situation. I'm talking about repeatedly exposing themselves to these individuals who would take advantage of them in all kinds of different ways, whether it be physical, emotional, work situation, whatever it is. And they convince themselves that there's no way out. But really, it's because there's so much fear in making the choice that's right for them. And why are they okay with continually subjecting themselves to these kinds of behaviors? Because they fail to find worth within their own being. So today, you know, when we're sitting here and we're thinking about how can I stand in my power? How can I be everything that I'm meant to be, where nobody feels that they ever have the right to take advantage of me again? Nobody feels that they ever have the right to put me in a relationship where I am suppressed and they are on top and there's no way for me to escape. I have to stand in my value and my worth. The only way I can protect myself is if I feel into that first. How many women have you heard tell their kids, never be in a relationship where a man hits you. Don't ever let a man put his hand on you. Don't ever let a man touch you, or a man telling his daughter. Those are empty words. That is not going to keep your child from being in an abusive relationship. At work, at home, anywhere. In their social life. You know what's going to make your child not engage in those kinds of relationships? Their own self-worth and self-value. If you want to ensure that your children are never in relationships where they're taken advantage of, whether it be boy or girl, you build their self-worth and their self-confidence. You ensure that they know the distinct value that they hold within their own being. Because when they know that, without a doubt, they are going to do everything they need to do to protect that value. They're going to treat themselves from that understanding of their being, from that pride, from that strength, from that power. So we have to start embodying these behaviors ourselves, so that when our children, when our nieces and nephew, when our friends' kids, or whoever it is, whatever young people it is that you're exposed to in your life, they see that power in you. They see that every choice you make, every relationship that you have with the people around you, you're not just tucking your tail and taking whatever the person you're in the relationship with wants or says. That you're not just bowing your head and doing whatever it is that you think you can't escape, or you're letting other people keep you from fully expressing who and what you are when you're playing it small for other people. If this is the example that we are giving the young people who are coming after us of how to behave in life, guess what? We are just in for more and more and more cycles of this kind of behavior. As women, our power is so strong. We have to learn to start standing in that power. We have to start. What does a strong woman look like to you? A strong woman does not let other people dictate who she is and how she lives. That woman dictates those things for herself and for her home. Right? I set the tone. I set the standard. I get to choose. If you want to be a part of my experience, fine. If you do not, there's the door, right? We have to stop degrading ourselves to meet these other people's expectations and relationships that we think we need because we don't value ourselves enough. Things have got to change. I've read quotes that say things like inferiority is, women's inferiority is, the inferiority of women is man-made and things of that. No, I'm choosing to participate. I'm choosing that. I'm engaging in it. I'm actively exchanging in a way with that individual that makes them believe that I'm inferior, as well as sinks that belief into my own being. I don't get to say that. We all have to decide to own our power, to take up space, to speak up, hold the door open, and take others with us. And change takes courage. It does. And it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, to learn to stand in my own power, to be my own person. And it doesn't mean that those things don't still rise up, those old, like, oh man, should you have said that? Do people understand you? Did they get what you were trying to express? Who cares? It came from my heart. I expressed where I was in the moment. If somebody else doesn't get it, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. It's only my business to express from the most pure way I know how the authentic nature of my own being. I mean, like, girls just want to have fundamental human rights. Then have them. Have them. I mean, come on. Like, I'm just so over the blame and other people are to blame for me not having this or me not doing this. No. If we all rise up right now today, guess what? Change will occur. But we have to be willing to stand in our power so that we can access that space. It will not happen if we do not stand in our power, right? We have to be willing to be so sick of it that we are no longer willing to participate in the bullshit that continues to happen, right? I have to finally get over it. I have to finally stand in my rage, stand in my anger, stand in my frustration. It is okay to be angry and upset and frustrated. Be in that. Let that motivate me to create the positive change that's necessary so that my kids, my children, my grandkids, whoever it is, will not live in a world where they feel that they have no choice but to let somebody else overpower them and victimize them. I'm not participating in that anymore. I'm not going to pretend like everything's okay and shrink myself for the rest of the world and play it small to make other people comfortable, to make them feel like they're still in control. We have to stop blaming the darkness and bring in the light. We have to start shining the light on the things that are not working anymore, that are not conducive to our growth, our expansion, that are not conducive to our safety, our security, our wholeness. We have to stop playing those games, and we have to start making the difficult choices that allows for change to happen. We have to start standing in our power, the truth of our being. You know, the power of a woman, it's fierce. It can come with a mighty roar. But we have to learn how to value and appreciate and love ourselves so deeply that we are willing to roar to defend it, that we are willing to speak our truth, to take the actions necessary to defend it, so that the young people who are coming after us see us standing in that power, defending our own worth, our own value. If every time you look in the mirror, you're telling yourself how ugly you are, how fat you are, how old you are, and you're finding all of these flaws that in the mirror every day, you're not taking actions that make you feel good in your own body, because it's easier to be complacent. It's easier to hate yourself. It's easier to not stand in your power. You're instilling those qualities in your own children. Every time your child sees you doing those things, it makes them hate themselves. It doesn't make them hate you or think you're ugly or, yeah, she's right, she's getting fat. No, it makes your child hate themselves because every time they look at themselves, they think you're the most beautiful creature that ever lived. You're one of the most beautiful humans they know in their life. They're going to turn those words against themselves. They're going to use your words, your perceptions, and turn them against themselves, which is such a sick, twisted thing because we think our children are the most beautiful, amazing creatures that have ever existed. We don't want to instill these kinds of mentalities or thoughts or behaviors into our kids. We don't want that. This is old social programming. This is old ways of being, the ways that we've seen our mothers talk to themselves, the ways that we've seen our mothers engage in relationships and things of that nature. And this is where we have to be the generation of women who says, no more. No more. I'm not going to do this to myself. I'm not going to do this to my children. Every time my son hears me say things that are not kind about myself, he's going to hold every other woman he meets to a standard that I'm holding myself to, that I feel that I'm failing and not achieving. We have to learn to value ourselves so greatly that our children have no doubt of the immense amounts of love. That's where our power is sourced. Love. 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 We have to learn to engage in that power and to use it to focus on our own being, to see ourselves from those eyes of creator divinity source. Always witnessing ourselves from within that space, celebrating the beauty of who and what we are, standing in our strength, standing in our power. You know, it's to be enraged, to be angry, to be frustrated. That doesn't make me a bitch. That doesn't make me a bitch. That makes me a lioness who is ready to protect what they love. And if you don't like that, or somebody else doesn't like that, you can leave. You don't have to be a part of my life experience. People don't have to be a part of your life experience. If they can't understand you in your rage and in your frustration and in your unwillingness to participate in the social programming, then they don't deserve a seat at your table. And the most important thing is the legacy that we're leaving for those who will come after us. Am I taking that seriously? Am I truly being the ancestor for those who come after us? Am I embodying my truth? Am I embodying my strength? Am I embodying my power? Am I saying no to the relationships, the experiences, the places, the people who make me feel small, who make me feel that I'm less than, who would seek to keep me suppressed? Are my children watching me defend my rights as a human? Are my children watching me stand in my strength and in my power? What does my behavior speak about my truth in reference to these things? So today during our practice, I know I'm really on my soapbox, but I get so frustrated when I see women being taken advantage of and they feel that they have no choice in the matter. They feel that they have no way, no escape from these horrific people or places or things. And we have to start recognizing the power within our being so that we can stop engaging in those kinds of things, so that we stand in our power and we teach our children to do the same thing. I want my child to look at me and see that I'm willing to fight for what I believe in, that I'm willing to be the fullness of my being, to protect their ability to be in the fullness of their own. I hope you guys really think about that today and where you can stand in your strength. What does it mean to be in your power? Our power is not in our kindness, our gentleness, and all of those things. That's part of our power. But our power comes from love, and love is protective. Love is fierce sometimes. Love is here to defend, right? So what part of myself have I been suppressing? How am I interacting in my relationships? What is the example that I'm leaving and that I'm showing the people in my life of how they should treat themselves, if they should be standing in their own power, or if I'm teaching them to suppress the truth of their being, to meet other people's expectations, and to fall under their thumbs, right? So let's be thinking about that today. And again, not to fill ourselves with guilt and shame and all of these kinds of things. Never, never, never. But so that we can see what's true, so I can change what is to open new space for what I want, the dream of the heart, the truth of the being. Okay? We're only acknowledging the thing so that we know where the change needs to be made. And I really encourage you women to just do your best to stand in your strength as much as you can, to learn to love and value yourself so much that it oozes out of your pores. Every single person you meet, to become enchanted, intoxicated by the love and the worth and the value that you hold for your own being. That is going to speak to them more than any words you could ever use. That is power, that confidence, that security of being. That speaks far beyond words. And you will set the tone for how you want to be treated. And as you set the tone for how you want to be treated, you teach the people who come after them to do just the same. So think about those areas that you want to imbue with more strength of being, that you want to really tap into the grit of who and what you are and draw that strength forth, that fierce strength, that protective strength, that strength that honors the beauty of your own being. So we're going to engage in our practice today. We're going to come into that, like I said, bird of paradise posture. We're only going to go as far as we can. No pressure. We're doing these postures to show us what we're capable of, what we can work towards, where we can give our body potential to open up new space, right? It's not about the achievement of the posture per se. It's just giving ourselves opportunity to do something new, okay? So let's start by coming into our easy seated posture. Drop the shoulders back and down. Let that clavicle rise up towards the chin. Heart space shines forward. Feeling into that radiant beauty of your own heart. That fierce protective nature, that lioness that exists within your own being. And for the gentlemen present, you know, we all have that divine feminine energy within us. We all have the sacred masculine. So we can allow that aspect of our being to rise up and to be felt into today. And honoring the beauty of the women in our lives, the strength of their being, the immense amounts of respect that we hold for those strong women who have paved the way for us to show us the beauty of what it looks like to stand in our power and feel that power radiating out from the entirety of your being as that heart shines forward. Take those hands to frame the hips, gently resting them in the earth. Grounding your energy. Feeling rooted and connected to the earth beneath us. Thinking about the Mother Earth when she goes to reclaim what's hers. It can look like complete destruction. It can look like chaos. It can feel like she's so angry. Because sometimes that's what's necessary to create new life, to engage in dramatic change. Inhale, draw the fingertips into the sky, nice and slow with grace and ease. Caressing the aura the entire way to the top. Exhale, push the hands away from each other. Grounding the energy all the way down. Inhale, fingertips rise up. Drop the hands over the shoulders, fingers towards the front, thumbs towards the back. And we're going to begin twisting to the left side on the inhalation. Exhale, twist to the right. That washing machine posture. Twisting the body, wringing out those organs, detoxifying. We must take responsibility for the choices that we make, the relationships that we choose to engage in, the quality of the relationship that I allow to become a standard. Come back to center. Release those arms down. We're going to come into some gentle shoulder circles. So inhaling up on the back side, exhaling down on the front. I'm clearly not talking about being aggressive with or not being compassionate with people who have been victimized. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about teaching our children and the people who come after us a new standard for self-love and self-care, standing in your power, allowing that fierceness to rise up within your own being to protect the beauty of your own soul. Take that rotation in the opposite direction the next time you find those shoulders towards the bottom of the rotation. This time inhaling up towards the ears and exhaling down towards the floor, up towards the front, down towards the back. We take responsibility for our own experience, the quality of relationships, the people that we choose to engage with, the places that we choose to expose ourselves to. We take responsibility for ourselves by not engaging with those things that do not support us, uplift us, allow us to be the fullest, healthiest version of our own being. Exhale and release those shoulders down. We're going to inhale, twist the head, gazing over the left shoulder. Exhale, gazing over the right. Nice and slow. No rush. Really being careful with that neck here and just honoring exactly where we are on our mat today. If we have any kind of compression or pain, trauma in that neck, we're going to be nice and gentle, or even close our eyes and visualize ourselves in the posture, never moving into pain, tingling, numbness. Inhale back to center. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Coming up on the hands and knees. Tabletop position. Nice straight spine. Hips are stacked on top of the knees, shoulders on top of the wrists. Inhale, lift the gaze, drop the belly, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck the chin to the chest, and draw the tailbone in. Inhale into your cow posture, and exhale into your cat. And just continuing on, taking those gentle movements. To love ourselves enough to have honest conversations with the people we love, even when they're uncomfortable. If it means honoring the truth of our being, ensuring that we're being taken care of, treated with love and kindness and compassion and empathy. Come back into your tabletop position. Beginning on the left side, we're going to inhale, lift up through the left leg. Take the knee into alignment with the hip. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And just continuing on. Nice, strong breath. Take it to the opposite side. Inhale, lift up through the right leg. Exhale, take it down. Exhale, release the knee into the earth. We're going to come into those deep sweeping hip circles. So shifting the hips to the left side, then drawing them back towards the heels, swing the hips around to the right. Inhale, take it forward, and just continue on with those sweeping hip circles. Closing the eyes, allowing this to become a meditative movement. The next time you find yourself towards the front of the rotation, draw those hip circles towards the opposite direction. Inhale, rise up into that tabletop position. Draw the knees towards the edge of the mat. Press the glutes back towards the heels. Stretch the arms out long in front of you, finding that peaceful warrior posture. Dropping the heart space and the third eye into the earth. Take some deep breaths. And breathe into your body. Tapping into that raw power, that strength of our being. We've been taught to fear that. We've been taught to believe that when we engage in that space that we're being a bitch, that we're being crazy, angry, untamed woman. It's time that we tap into the wilder aspects of our being, those wilder aspects of our being, that raw, authentic, true nature. When we're in those difficult conversations where we're striving to protect ourselves, or we're in those conversations where other people would seek to oppress us, or any of those kinds of things, it could even be beneficial to put yourself in a position where you would answer as if you would want your own child to respond. Sometimes we put up with a lot of stuff that we wouldn't want our own children to put up with, that we wouldn't want other people that we love and care about in our lives to put up with. But we think that we can, we're powerful, we're strong, we can drudge through this. We can use our strength in a way that allows us just to exist. How would I want my little sister to respond? How would I want my daughter to respond to the situation? Why? Because I care about them so much. I would want them to protect themselves. I would want them to stand up for what's right for them. I would want them to protect their own interests. On your next inhalation, slowly and gently rising up, draw those hands back in front of the knees. Take the knees towards each other, curling the toes under, pressing the hips into the sky, downward facing dog. Take a couple deep breaths. You can pedal out through those legs here or remain in stillness. Just listen to your body and whatever you need today. Inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat. Take those steps forward, drawing those hands or the feet towards the hands. Inhale, we're going to roll up through the spine, nice and slow. Draw the arms overhead. Exhale, cactusing out the arms, pressing the heart space forward. Inhale, lift the fingertips into the sky. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, drop the fingertips into the earth. Come up high on the toes. Keep the heels away from the earth. As you bend those knees, drop the glutes towards the heels to come into your seed posture. Taking your chin, tucking it to the chest, dropping the forehead towards the knee. Planting the seeds of intention. Intentions for ourselves to protect the sanctity of my own being, protect my rights, to protect my authentic nature, to protect my truth. Inhale, press the glutes into the sky as you remain high on the toes. Exhale, release the heels, and inhale, roll up. Nice and slow. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, fingertips rise up. And exhale, diving forward. Inhaling, half lift. Exhale, release the fingertips into the mat. Come high on the toes. Curl into your seed. Setting a new energetic tone. No longer choosing to be the victim. No longer choosing to allow people to suppress me, to keep me small, to force me to behave in a way that isn't authentic to my truest nature, but choosing to only live from within the truth of my own heart, to protect that space as fiercely as I can. Inhale, press the hips up into the sky. Exhale, drop the heels, and inhale, roll up. One more time. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, arms come overhead. And exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, drop the fingertips into the mat. Come high on the toes. Curl into your seed one last time. Take this opportunity to make your own affirmations, to plant your own seeds that are necessary for you to stand in your power, to stand in your strength, to open up to that divine, feminine, raw power, the untamed version of your own being. Inhale, press the hips into the sky. Exhale, release those heels into the earth. Roll it up. Arms come overhead. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, fingertips rise up. Exhale, swan diving forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, drop the hands into the earth. Step back, down dog. Beginning on your right side. Inhale, lift up through the right leg. Exhale, pull it all the way through for that low lunge. You can drop down on that back heel, taking those toes out at a 45-degree angle, or remain high on the toes. Inhale, nice and slow with grace and ease. Rise up using your core strength for that warrior one posture. Hip points are both facing towards the front of the room. Front knee stacked on top of the front ankle. Inhale deeply. Exhale, drop your hands in front of your heart space. Press away all the suppression. Press away all the stuff that would keep you small. Inhale up. Rise into your power. Exhale, take it down. Press away all the stuff that's no longer serving you. Inhale, rise up into that power. Exhale down and continue on. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, lengthen through that front leg. Take the back foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through those arms. Take them out to the side. Hinge to the right. Drop your fingertips inside the arch of your right foot. Open up through your heart space by rotating that elevated arm back and down so that the heart space is radiating forward. We're going to begin to come into that bird of paradise posture. So just stop wherever it is that you feel comfortable, wherever it is that's your place where you feel comfortable and safe today. I can't even come into the full bird of paradise, so I'm just going to come into the fullest expression that I can. Bending that front knee. If you need to walk that back foot back again a bit, go ahead and do so. Drop the elbow toward the earth. Wrap the arm up and around. Swing the left arm back towards the right hip and clasp the hand if you can. If you can't, use a towel or whatever it is you have to extend your reach. Step the left foot in. Come up on the right toes. Grounding through that left foot. If you feel comfortable and safe, you can inhale. Come up nice and slow. I had it earlier. We'll see if I can do it again. If you fall out, just do like I did and try to come back in. We're rising up really slow. When I come up, I usually can't lengthen fully through my leg, so my knee's kind of bent when I rise up. I thought I was going to get to show y'all, but we may not be doing that. We're going to practice a little bit more on this side. Pedal it out a little bit. And we're going to take it to the opposite side. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, cactus it out. Inhale, reach the fingers into the sky. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, drop the hands into the earth, step it back. Downward dog. Inhale, lift up through the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Pull it all the way through for your low lunge. And then inhale. Rise up. Rise into your power. Rise into your strength. Settle into that warrior one. And then exhale, drop those hands down, press it out. Straighten that back edge of the foot to be in alignment with the mat so that's parallel to that place. Lengthen through the front arm. Arms come out to the side. Exhale, drop the fingertips inside the arch of the left foot or somewhere along that shin bone. Work to stack those arms on top of each other so that it's one nice straight line. Make sure that that lifted shoulder is back so that the heart is lifted and exposed. Now we're going to bend through that front knee and work to come into that bird of paradise on the opposite side. I didn't even practice this side today, so I have no idea what this is going to look like. Draw the toe in. Nice and slow. Rise up. Full expression again, to lengthen through the leg. I'm not quite there, which is fine. I may never get there. That may be always my bird of paradise. Just to be able to get it up is maybe as far as that posture is going to allow me to go. And even if we can't stand through that grounded leg, it is okay. Whatever place we come, that's where we're meant to be on that day. No stress, no rush, just engaging exactly where I am. One more time, or a few more seconds here. We'll play with this posture. So funny because sometimes you'll be like, "Ooh, I got it," and then you'll try to move into the next part of it. You're like, "Nope, just kidding." And we can let it be fun. It doesn't have to be serious, and who cares if I can do the full thing? I'm just having fun, trying something new. No pressure. It's okay to play. Okay, pedal it out. Rotate the shoulders here. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, fingers rise into the sky. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, drop the hands into the mat. Step it back, plank posture. Drop the belly, really nice and slow, into the earth. We're going to take those hands. Fingertips come into alignment with the nipple. Keep the elbows in tight towards the body. Inhale, rise up, cobra. Gaze is forward. Keep a slight bend in those arms. Relax the body. Release the tension in the glutes, in the legs, in the lower spine. Breathe into the posture. Exhale, nice and slow. Take it down. Rest one cheek into the earth. Take those deep breaths. Feel the body relax, release. Inhale, come up onto your forearms. We're going to come into our Sphinx pose. Shoulders are stacked on top of the elbows. Fingertips point towards the front of the room. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Feel the crown of the head shining into the sky as you gaze forward. Keep the toes to touch, knees to touch. Breathe into the body. Relax the tension. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Exhale. Release your body down into the earth, resting the opposite cheek into the mat. Last spinal posture that we're going to come into. that locust pose or Superman pose. But we're going to really do the locust because we're going to keep the hands back. So coming up into the locust pose, we're going to lift the legs up away from the earth. Thighs are going to continue to rest into the mat, but the knees are going to come up. The lower legs will come up. Lift the shoulders away from the mat. Fingertips are pointed back as you elevate the arms away from the earth. Gaze is forward. If it feels safe on the neck. So inhale, rise up. And hold that locust posture. Exhale, release, resting your cheek into the earth. Take those deep breaths. On our next inhalation, we're going to rise up, tabletop. Drop the glutes back into the earth, swing the legs around in front, planting the soles of the feet into the mat. We're going to come into that Navasana boat pose. Arms come out to frame the legs, palms of the hands are facing towards each other. Inhale, lift up through one leg and then the other. You can lengthen through the legs if you want to here. Just listen to your body and where you're at today. Keep the core engaged so that that boat stays afloat. Exhale, release the soles of the feet into the mat. Drop the hands into the earth, releasing the spine all the way down into your mat. Inhale, knees come into the chest. Holding on to just the right leg, inhale, lift up through the left. Exhale, release it down, nice and slow. Reaching out through the right hand, left hand comes outside of the left or the right leg, Pull it across, supine twist. Gazing over the right fingertips if it feels safe on the neck. Relax. Slowly and gently untwisting the spine. Take the knees back into the chest. Hold on to just the left leg this time. Inhale, lifting up through the right. Exhale, release it down into the earth, reaching out through the left arm. Right hand comes outside the left leg, pull it across. Gazing over the left fingertips if it feels safe on the neck. Untwisting the spine. Knees come back in the chest. Grab onto the outside edge of those feet. Happy baby posture. Wrapping up our practice today. Release those feet whenever you're ready, coming into your final Shavasana corpse pose. Lengthening through the entirety of the body. Finding your breath, fully relaxing into the earth.
We can be all of the things. We can be kind and compassionate, empathetic, generous, nurturing, supportive, and fierce, strong, loyal, protective. I can be all of the things. And I must learn to stand in my power. Don't let people misinterpret your kindness for weakness. When you refuse to stand up for yourself, when you refuse to stand up for yourself against other people and stand up for yourself against the mean girl who lives inside of your own head. You must rise up in your power, in your strength. There's no limit to what you can accomplish. There's no relationship, circumstance, experience, or place that you have to be a part of. We take responsibility for ourselves by choosing what we expose ourselves to. Own your strength. Not one day I'll decide to do things differently. One day I'll have the courage to stand up for myself. Start today. You are sacred, powerful being. Be sure that you're carrying yourself that way, that you speak to yourself that way, that you behave that way, and that you take actions from a place, from within that strength. Become the fire. Stop fearing it. Step into the fire of your own spirit. You are your own hero. You are the one you've been waiting for. Teach your children to find the same thing within their own being. Unapologetic and honest. Soft but strong. You are so much more than you realize. Make yourself proud. Talk to yourself and treat yourself like someone you love. Tap into your wisdom. shining the light on the darkness. Ignore precedents and startle civilization with your progress. Change the world. By changing yourself, by changing the way you react, by changing the way you engage. Set a new standard, a new tone. In this world, there's no force equal to the strength of a woman determined to rise. Rise up. Slowly and gently drawing yourself back into this time and place, wiggling the fingers, toes, taking the gentle movements necessary to come back into the body. Taking any gentle stretches that you might need. Then rolling over onto the right side in the fetal position, or drawing your knees into your chest and rocking and rolling upright into a comfortable seated posture. If you're in the fetal position, pressing into the palm of the left hand. Whenever you're ready, draw yourself upright into that comfortable, easy seat. Finishing our practice today with 3 long Sat Nams. I am truth. Truth is my name. Truth is my identity. Every time we use that mantra, I am truth, accepting the truth of our being, honoring the beauty, the light, witnessing ourselves from the eyes of divinity. Take those hands into prayer pose. Tuck the thumbs into the breastbone. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhaling to begin. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you guys understand what I was trying to relate to you guys within this practice. And it's really hard for me because I get tongue-tied sometimes when I'm really passionate about something. But, want us to all rise up. I want us to rise up in our strength, rise up into our power to shift the energetic space so that it is more open to receive the wholeness of the beauty of the divine feminine and the power that comes from within that space. And it has to start with us. We have to allow that energy to rise up within our own being. We have to learn to value ourselves and see ourselves from that divine vision, that view of who and what we are, so that we see the worth and the value that is there to protect, that we are no longer victims to our circumstances, victims to the world and the people who live in it, or the circumstances that occur, but we are empowered co-creators, manifestors of this time and space that contribute in a way that brings safety, security, wholeness, nurturing, safety,
I said that already. All of those energies to ourselves, to our children, and to all of those who will come after us, to take responsibility for the part that we play in the paradigm that is no longer serving us, and shifting our attention into the new, creating opportunity for new experiences by changing our behavior, our responses, the way that we have been doing things that are not serving us, that are keeping us small and suppressed, and in this imbalanced dynamic that we have been experiencing. So here's to strong women. May we raise them. May we know them. May we be them. Thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time.